Namaskar to everyone. I would like to thank the organizers for giving us this opportunity to speak in this conference and present our research on can horror movies affect us spiritually. I want you to go back to the last time you saw a horror movie and remember the scary scenes accompanied by the eerie music, the goosebumps, the gasps, clutching your partner's hand, covering your face, and your forefingers in your ears. We have all experienced what happens to us on a mental level and the relief when we walk out of the theater. But most of us are not aware of the spiritual impact that horror movies have on us. I represent the Maharshi Adhyatma Vishwavidyalaya, also known as the Maharshi University of Spirituality, and founded by His Holiness Dr. Athavale on the base of 40 years of spiritual research. The university specializes in conducting research into how the spiritual dimension and spiritual vibrations affect our lives. And one aspect of the research we've conducted is how various forms of entertainment affect us at a spiritual level, and this includes horror movies. We conducted an experiment where we asked 17 people from the Spiritual Research Center in Ashram to watch a popular supernatural horror movie. To understand the spiritual impact of watching a movie from the horror genre, we created a theater type of atmosphere in our studio for their viewing experience. Now, when we see a movie, of course, we order popcorn and other eatables. So we also kept some eatables in the vicinity like popcorn, water, cola drinks to understand the impact of the subtle vibrations from the movie on such eatables that we usually consume during a movie. To analyze and measure the subtle or spiritual impact of the horror movie, we used an instrument known as the Universal Aura Scanner, or the UAS, the GDV BioWell, and the sixth sense of the research team members. We took the reading of the audience before and after seeing the movie, and the UAS was used to measure the changes in the aura of the audience before and after seeing the movie. And it shows any changes in positivity or negativity in the aura of a person. Now, the GDV BioWell was also used to measure the changes in the energetic state of a participant and the chakras or subtle energy centers of the participant. I would like to now take you through some of the key findings. Firstly, across the board, the negativity in all the participants' auras increased. And the average increase in the negativity of the auras of the participants was 107%. That is almost more than double, with some participants seeing increases as much as 375%. The negativity in the food items went up by 113%, with negative auras averaging 20 meters. Imagine ingesting such food items and the effect it has on one's consciousness. Now, those who had positive auras to start with, the positivity in their auras reduced on average by 60%, with some seeing their positive auras being almost completely wiped out. We also observed a lingering effect of watching the movie, as when we asked all the subjects to come back the following morning to be measured, their auras had still not yet come back to normal. In fact, on average, the negativity in their auras were 55% more as compared to their aura before they saw the movie. We asked the audience to rate the scariness of the movie on a scale of 1 to 10. 10, of course, being the most scary. And as you can see from this table, even those who said that they did not find it scary, that is, who gave it a 3 or 4, their readings showed higher increases in negativity when compared to those who found it scary. Now, interestingly, the person in the audience who gave the movie the least scary score, that is a 3 on 10, had the maximum increase in her negative aura of 375%. Two of the participants who had seen the movie before, they knew in advance what was coming in the movie, and according to them, they were less scared. Even so, they recorded on average a 102% increase in their negative aura. And what this goes to show that even if we feel that I did not get scared or I'm cool, I don't get affected by horror movies, or I've seen this movie before and I know what's coming, these aura readings tell a different story. Beyond the psychological feeling, there is a lot more that happens at a subtle vibrational level which most of us are unaware of. Also, in the experiment, we had two shows with separate participants, one in the afternoon and one in the evening. Now, the UAS measures two types of negativities in a person's aura. The first one, called IR, which stands for infrared, indicates a more general type of negative vibrations, while the second, called UV or ultraviolet, generally is associated with a more serious possibility of affliction by negative energies. And what we found is that the participants of both shows had similar increases in general negativity. However, those who attended the evening show had a 112% increase in the second type of negativity as compared to just 31% of those who attended the afternoon show. And this correlates with the rest of our research, which shows that after dusk, the effect of negative energies multiply. Now, in the audience were two participants who were at the spiritual level of saints. And this is a very advanced spiritual level, and there are hardly a few thousand people on earth at this spiritual level. The aura of these two saints extended beyond 475 meters. And after watching the movie, the negativity in their auras did increase. But the positivity in their auras was hardly affected. And what this goes to show is that when one is of an advanced spiritual level, one retains the positivity in their aura regardless of the external stimulus or the circumstances that one is in. We also obtained a number of reports from the GDV biowell about the energy field of one of the participants in the experiment. And I would like to share with you how the GDV perceived the Kundalini chakras, or the subtle energy centers in the participant, and how they were affected. Now, according to the instrument, when the chakras shift left or right, it can be related to inner emotional reactions or the response to the surroundings. Now, ideally, the chakras should be aligned, and this is generally observed in a person who is involved in daily spiritual practice and mental training. In the first picture, which is a snapshot of the person's chakras before the movie, as you can see, there's a general alignment of the chakras, and their size is much larger, which indicates balance, stability, and more energy. The second picture is a snapshot of the person's chakras after watching the movie. And apart from being totally misaligned, they have also become smaller, indicating instability and overall reduction in energy. For the same subject, the GDV picked up a significant energy imbalance increase in the organs, that is from one organ to 15 organs, showing high imbalance after watching the movie. Now, with such instruments, one can objectively see the effect of a stimulus such as a horror movie. However, the true nature of the subtle impact of such a movie can only be understood through the medium of advanced sixth sense. And in our team, we have members who can visually perceive the subtle vibrations, and by drawing them, they serve as spiritual X-rays, showing us the actual impact of a horror movie on the audience. And what the artist saw from the screen showing the horror movies was waves and particles of distressing energy that went out and enveloped the audience. And this clouded their thinking, and there was an illusory hypnotic effect, compelling the person to watch more and more. It also destabilized the viewer's chakras, which are subtle energy centers supplying the energy to one's organs. And this subtle reading matched the GDV results that we just saw. Up to now, we have discussed the impact of a horror movie on the audience. But what about the people who are in the horror movie, such as the actors, the directors, the crew, and of course the scriptwriters who conjure up the whole experience in their minds? They live the horror movie for weeks, if not months. What happens to them? To gain an understanding of this, we took photographs of the key cast members a year before they acted in the movie, during the movie, at the premiere, and a year or two after the movie. We took UAS, aura readings of their pictures, and the reason for this is our pictures capture the vibrations associated with us. Now, firstly, I would like to say that the space in the Spiritual Research Center in Ashram was not large enough to measure the negativity in their auras. So we had to go onto a desolate road to measure the full extent of their negative aura. And I would like to share some of our observations and findings in relation to the cast and crew of this particular horror movie. Firstly, I would like to say that the director's aura has gotten increasingly negative over the years as he has directed sequels to this horror movie along with other horror movies. The actor who portrayed a person possessed by a demonic entity had the maximum negative aura when she was acting possessed. Two other lead actors never really recovered from the increase in negativity they gained from the movie, and it would seem that they invited negative energy into their lives for the long term. And lastly, the people who topped the list in negative auras were the scriptwriters. Their negative aura started at 59 meters before the movie and went up to 84 meters 3 years after the movie at the premiere of the second sequel. All in all, none of the actors had any positive aura, and along with the fame and fortune, they all got an increasingly negative aura, which would put them in harm's way at a spiritual level. The reason I say this is because there is a spiritual principle which is like attracts like. Just as good people attract good people and evil people attract evil. And this is so in the spiritual world as well. And what this means is that when one is surrounded by higher levels of negativity, such as a horror movie set, and one is in character portraying subjects such as demonic possession, one invariably attracts demonic entities from the spiritual world. Now, such negative entities influence and try to control scriptwriters, directors, and the actors to come up with a movie that spreads maximum amount of negativity into society. At the Spiritual Research Center in Ashram, we have studied the subject of demonic possession in great detail and have one of the largest documented databases of this phenomenon. And what we found is that once a negative energy gains control of the consciousness of an individual, it is almost impossible to get rid of by any conventional means. In conclusion, I would like to leave you with one point. Watching horror movies attract large amounts of negative vibrations, and negative vibrations which are very difficult to nullify. Ideally, it's best not to watch such movies. Positivity in life is everything as it attracts positivity and well-being. One of the most easiest and most effective ways to attract positivity is chanting the name of God. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please do ask your questions below.